2 reasons why I'm confused about Upper House. Now, first and foremost, before I start, at this point of recording, it is the 4th of July and we have just been hit by a new cooling measure. Now, our newly appointed M&D minister kind of teased us a little bit with the removal of the 15-month without period for private downgraders, but instead slapped us with an extension of the seller's stamp duty. Now, what exactly is it? It is just basically reverting back to pre-2017 where the SSD period was 4 years, get hit by 16% tax if you sell within 1 year, 12% in the second year, 8% in the third, and 4% in the final 4th year. Now, what is the main intention of this? To obviously weed out short-term flippers. But what does it mean for those who buys for longer-term consumption? It means absolutely nothing now. Or rather, it means something positive. If you are a very serious buyer watching the market for quite some bit, this is the perfect time to scoop up good deals. Now, I'm not saying that prices will drop, but this is going to be exactly like how the recent trade war messed with everyone's head. And when it messes with your head psychologically, everyone starts to become cautious. Now, in this instance, a cooling measure will confuse sellers and developers. Nobody instantly turns bullish after a cooling measure. Quite the opposite. They tend to become cautious with their price. Now, as if selling a CCR property isn't hard enough, the developers in the CCR region have to contend with immense competition. And of course, they have to also contend with some bit of negative sentiments. Now, isn't it all the more they will price their products very cautiously, as developers are always in this for the short term. They don't care too much on the longer term because they can't keep for long anyway. Then who benefits? The serious buyers law. So does this affect the property market in the longer term? In my opinion, it doesn't. In the shorter term, we kind of just mess with the heads of sellers and developers that will subtly switch to become a buyer's market for the short term. As usual, there will definitely be Einsteins who will use this as a way to predict that market will correct itself, and then they will find 1,000 reasons to try to time the market again. Then if the market really shows some value, they will continue to time till the market picks up. And then the cycle repeats itself because in theory, they are not serious to begin with. Then just let them be lah. Disclaimer, whatever I share does not constitute financial advice. It is solely based on my opinion on what is right or wrong. So please do your own due diligence. If you're liking the content so far, please hit the like and subscribe button, as your simple gesture will help a lot with the YouTube algorithm. If you are interested to find out more about property related matters, please find all the social media handles I am on, or you can just directly reach out to me on WhatsApp. Separately, I have also set up a Telegram group at the start of the year so that we can have a discussion that we as agents are not allowed to do so online, which is to talk shit. So if you are interested to get into a community that talks about everything under the sun about property, please scan the QR code, or for the boomers out there, I have pasted the link in my description. We're going to close the group invitation in probably a month or 2 times, so head over and I will see you there. Now back to the video. Granted, this might really affect the market in the shorter term. The longer term future is still safe, and guess what is still most important? What you buy and at what price. Okay, enough of negative news. Now back to the main topic for today. And since this is the first of the batch of CCL to launch first, I thought I would skip the River Valley ones to just focus specifically on Upper House. Now for context, and as per my previous video, I have never in my 15 years career seen so many CCL launches launch at one go. You have Upper House, Robertson Opus, PP63, Zion Green, River Green, and for those who've been wanting to get into the CCR region, this is about the biggest spread of new choices you would have come to have. All of their locations are solid in their own merits. Again, I will leave the River Valley ones for the next video because today it is all about Upper House, one of the most prestigious and most expensive addresses you can find in Singapore, Orchard Boulevard. Now, you know, when we look through addresses and see Orchard Boulevard, our first instant reaction is, wow, it's not confirmed they're rich one. 有钱人. Correct? I mean, this area per square foot, so many of them easily hitting between 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 per square foot. But of course, those are freehold. Truth be told, this is almost on par with Ardmore Park. Not the condo Ardmore Park per se, even though that is the like Tauke level type of development. It is the Ardmore Park address. For condo, this is considered the creme de la creme of addresses. Now, Nassim also got that kind of reaction, but that's more for landed classification. Hence, for those who wanna lump the CCL launches all together and put Orchard Boulevard into the mix, they do not know what they are talking about. So not only is Upper House along Orchard Boulevard, it is right on top of the Orchard Boulevard MRT TEL line. Now, it is also a short walking distance to shopping malls, although Tanglin Mall can be quite boring, except during probably like Christmas period. But you're also one stop away from Orchard Ion and Taka. Now, does it sound like a no-brainer then? No. I'm still very confused. Now, stay till the end of the episode. I will reveal why I'm confused about Upper House. Okay, so let's dissect Upper House with our QPE framework, shall we? Now, first circle, quality, first point, land size, facilities, and facade. Upper House is developed by UOL. Land was acquired back in 2024 at I think about 1616 per square foot per plot ratio. Harmonized plot. Now, break even brings it up to about 2652 per square foot. If you add the usual 7% for it being harmonized, it should land at about 2837 per square foot break even. Then if you put a safe range of like 10 to 20% profit margin, you should be looking at a launch price of like 3120 per square foot to like 3404 per square foot. Now, more on the price later. Total 301 units sitting on a 75,000 square feet of land with one block tolling 35 stories high with a commercial plot at level 1. Sizes ranging from 1 bedroom plus study all the way to 4 bedroom private lift and car park lot. Now, everything about it is very ADTP architects. Plenty of greenery around the development with a decent amount of pool, 150-meter lap pool, one leisure pool, and one like kind of kids pool area. No tennis court, unfortunately, because the land size is a tad too small to really fit one in. From the artist's impression, the function room looks good and the botanical villa corner looks pretty cool also. Now, I think for first point of land size, facilities, and facade, even though your land is on the smaller side, you know you are in pretty safe hands when the project gets designed by ADTP architects. Okay, so for first point, can pass. Not super ultra luxe, but not too shabby either. Point number 2, layouts. Again, in my previous Linden Woods video, a lot of my usual viewers commentated that they like that I lump both price and layout to give you a more comprehensive understanding of the designs and price points. So for this video, I will do just that again. Now, layout and price side by side. So first layout is the 1+ study. Now, usually I would just skip past this, but okay lah, since this is Orchard Boulevard property, let's give this some chance. 474 square feet. I mean, there's really nothing to talk much about. Door comes into a galley, kitchen, and the study at one corner. Living room and dining space of 24.9 square meter is quite sizable. Room about 10.4 square meters, also quite okay. Normal. One thing to take note, there is no balcony here, so it's really 474 square feet of fully usable space. Now, with benefit of me doing this video so late on, at this point of recording, the developers have already released the guide prices, and this one starts from 1.3xm. So let's compare with our neighboring competitions. And I realize not much. Probably only Cascaden Reserve and 19 Nassim with both also leasehold, but hitting close to $2 million because their sizes are way bigger at between 600 to 700 square feet. Now at 1.3xm, I think this is the cheapest entry level into the Orchard Boulevard area. For those singles who want to get a solid property as a stepping stone, this is not bad at all. However, I know there's a lot of people who say that because of the price point like this, 1.3xm to potentially 1.6xm, and because you are way cheaper than neighboring competitions, it is an undervalued buy. Now, I agree the price is very attractive, but hello, very seldom we associate 1 bedroom or 1+ study with the term undervalued lah. I mean, yes, you do get the odd single or couple looking for one, but it is still a unit type that most people will avoid lah. Okay, next up, 2 bedrooms, 700 square feet, perhaps one of the more efficient layouts, dumbbell, enclosed kitchen, not a corner unit, so naturally no window in the kitchen and all bathroom. That might just be the only negative lah. 8.8 square meter rooms are okay for a 2 bedroom with 10.8 square meter of space being the master bedroom. Overall, it's very functional. 3 stacks in total. 1 stack faces the Grange condo, which technically speaking is semi-block with a nice pool view on the lower floor and some pocket view of the One Tree Hill Lander enclave. The other 2 is the north facing overlooking the junction of the Grange Road and Orchard Boulevard. Slightly slightly noisier, so I'm guessing the guide price floated should be for this facing. Now, guide price is floated somewhere starting from $2.1 million, which is about 3,000 per square foot. Now, if I were to use a matrix of 3,250 per square foot for a mid-floor unit, it should be slightly under 2.3 at about $2.275 million. Now, on its own, does it sound expensive? Of course it is, but let's be very objective and fair. We got to really compare with similar type of properties to see if this is indeed expensive or at fair value. For context, I would like to only use Cascaden Reserve and 19 Nassim as our outright competition. Why? Because all of the other properties in the neighborhood are all freehold and the sizes are like way larger, meaning the entry levels are on another level. So showing this price matrix will make upper house look like dirt cheap. But no, I am not going to do that. I will instead show you what I think is a fair comparison. So Cascaden Reserve 2-bedroom sells theirs at 807 square feet, about $2.4 million, all the way up to $2.6 million. 19 Nassim does theirs at $2.5 million, all the way to $3 million. Now, given upper house is on top of the MRT and with a starting price of $2.1 million and probably an average of like 2.275, I think that seems quite fair. In my honest opinion, I expect this layout to sell very, very well because everything is very efficient. Next up, the 2+ study, 764 square feet. This is the conventional layout, 2 stacks in total, one facing the Grange condo and the other one facing Orchard Bel Air. Small little entrance coming to the kitchen. Kitchen is pretty tight at 4.4 square meter, even by 2-bedroom standards. As they are all corner units, you got a window in the kitchen and the bathrooms, which is good. There's a slightly longer passageway that leads to the bedroom, master bathroom, master bedroom, and study. Okay, a bit of wasted space in the corridor, I must say. Rooms are okay for a 2+ study. Kitchen is really tiny even if you don't cook much. Starting from 2.3 XM to an average of like, let's say 3,250 per square foot, which brings it close to $2.5 million. Now, what are we up against at the other two? Cascaden Reserve started from $2.6 million all the way up to $3.2 million recently, although this was the like kind of fire sale pricing that actually allowed it to move. Before that, it was like as high as $3.5 million. Now, 19 Nassim, even more fierce, price moved at between $3.4 million all the way to $3.9 million. So in theory, $2.3 to $2.5 million for a mid-floor unit doesn't sound too expensive for upper house. Now, the only negative is that the layout could really have done way better. Way better. Okay, 3-bedroom layout next, 1012 square feet. This is the 3-bedroom premium unit. Only one stack facing the Grange Road. Entrance doesn't come in straight to the unit. Goes into the kitchen that is pretty sizable and also with a yard, WC, and a bomb shelter. Then the living room is what we call the portrait layout. 3 meter in width, just about the bare minimum. Now, what I'm going to share next, to me, it's somewhat criminal, mind my language, and it's something I cannot understand. I mean, when they first released the layouts, it was the first thing that I quickly look at when the layouts were released. And I've said this many times. This is Orchard Boulevard category type of property, meant to be the ultra luxe category. Why is the 3-bedroom space only 8.7 square meter? I mean, given the target audience is that of a family and it's in an ultra luxe location, is the developers really targeting the OCR and LCR condo upgraders who wants to get into the prime location and can accept this setup? Because I feel the authentic CCR peeps will not accept the room space one bit. I mean, 14.1 square meter master is still okay, although I think like 16 square meter should be kind of like the benchmark for luxe properties. Again, what do I know? What do I know? What I know is that the Cascaden Reserve failed, or rather didn't perform well because the developers decided to build a wrong product in a good location. Meaning the unit mix and sizes doesn't really attract what the consumer there wants. So overall, the layout is clean in anywhere, and OCR and LCR, this would be a kind of like job well done. But because this is in the ultra luxe segment, again, I'm not feeling the layout is done to attract the intended crowd. Guide price of $3.2 million, which is already 3,160 per square foot, up to probably a higher average of $3.35 million. Now, what do we have at Cascaden Reserve? Their 3 bedrooms 1163 went for between $3.5 to $4 million. Although that itself is a 3+ study with a landscape layout and a private lift, I actually like this layout better, but of course the pricing is higher at Cascaden Reserve. As for 19 Nassim, nothing much to compare with. Their 3 bedrooms are much larger at between 1,324 square feet all the way to 1,700 square feet and sold between $4.5 to $6 million. Now that is a huge difference. Almost 50% higher in absolute terms. I know size is bigger, but hey, it's still only a 3-bedroom. So upper house at this entry level is pretty much closer to surrounding 2+ study pricing in the neighborhood lah. Final one, the 4-bedroom 2067 square feet, meant to be the cream de la cream, comes with its own private car park lot. Now the lot itself is about 11.5 square meter that is counted into the strata. So what do you get in the livable space? Approximately 1937 square feet. And as per every premium unit, there's a private lift. It's kind of mandatory lah. Comes with the house that is right beside the powder room. Then going into about 52 square meter of space in the living and dining, although that is kind of considered to be part of the dry kitchen area called the gourmet bar. Now different on level type, and this is a design thing. Odd level units, your living and dining are in one line with the double volume living room, giving you this very grand feel of the entire floor plate. On even number, the dining and living room is in like an L-shaped design, like a gun. Personally, the only thing I can't understand is where do you put a TV? So master bedroom is huge at close to 25 square meter. I mean, that's like basic, right? The guide price is 6.9, close to $7 million. This kind of price tag, everything has to be big lah, right? Wrong. The common bedrooms here again are criminal. 10.7 square meter and 11.8 square meter. Looks and sounds big, but given there's plenty of walkway into the bedroom, very similar to like Wharton House, the livable space should only be like between 9 square meter, thereabout. Can see one queen size in, tucked at one corner, can only put one side table. I mean, why? Do you see the surrounding neighborhood sizes and bedroom sizes? You want to compete with them, then really must compete equally lah. This kind of size again is like more for the mass market crowd, but bring it here for the ultra luxe people. Then junior ensuite at 14.5 square meter is pretty decent, comes with its own balcony. Kitchen space also quite good, but I guess that's really a basic given its price tag. $6.9 million starting price puts it close to like $3,350 per square foot, which means that this is officially the unit that developers are most or more confident to sell. I get it, the largest area unit in an area like Orchard Boulevard will sell well, but the rooms are really making me very sad. Imagine you got such big budget, but your common bedrooms this kind of size, then also cannot knock into one some more. Looking at surrounding neighborhood, I mean, of course, nothing to really compare with lah. Cascaden Reserve 2099 square feet went off at above $7 million. The freehold, the Grange, sells at around $6 to $6.3 million. Grange Residences, one of the most sought after in that neighborhood, is between $8.5 to $9.7 million. Actually, if you look at it, the price for the Grange seems quite attractive given you got space, got convenience, freehold, MRT at doorstep, also just that you got to make do with the construction noise of upper house, right? You see, if you start to compare with the different price points, sometimes unknowingly you might find good value in resale properties. In this scenario, I get it that developers at upper house are confident in their 4-bedroom, but I'm really not too sure if the ideal target audiences can accept this or not. You're no longer talking about OCR or RCR upgrader because at $7 million, you are really looking at the CCL type of people, the very high net worth. So I don't know, guys. All in all, for the second point of layout and pricing, I think the smaller sizes of 1 to 2 and 2+ study have some sort of price advantages and should sell pretty well. I'm not too impressed with the 3 and 4 bedrooms because I think the intended crowd might not like the small space. Again, I might be wrong, but I thought I would put up my honest pullback on this floor. Point number 3, location, MRT and amenities. Now, okay lah, this is like Orchard Boulevard. Come on guys, I mean, I don't need to further elaborate much. Some more, this is on top of an MRT and probably a small retail floor plate on level 1, diagonally across to Tanglin Mall, Camden Medical, short 2 to 3 minutes drive to Glen Eagles and Botanic Gardens, also short 4 to 5 minutes drive back to Orchard Road, Wheelock, Ion, so and so forth. It is the mother of all atas location. Point 4, views. View on the northern side, as mentioned, you will face the big junction of Grange Road and Orchard Boulevard. It can get a little bit noisy during the peak hours of between like 6 to 8 p.m, but the views should be fairly open. And on the southern side, where the premium facing will likely be, how do I know that? Just find the largest size unit facing. If it's that facing, then it is the most premium facing. The 4 bedrooms should get a clear unblocked view of the 1-3 hill landed enclave. Some of the 2 bedrooms and 2+30 will face more of like the Grange condo. All in all, the views are not to die for because Orchard Road properties tend to not boast an excellent choice views lah, but this one is quite okay. So for circle of quality, it is without a doubt that developers are trying to build you something very luxurious. The finishes are top notch, I can't argue with that, but what I can argue or debate all day long is this has quite a fair bit of mass market vibes in the designing of the floor plans. Whether that can be accepted or not eventually, this is one of the points which confuses me. There, I already revealed one part of my confusion. Whatever you need in the facilities, you have it, except tennis court, but at least it's not a development that has all small sizes. And that is one of the biggest downfall of Cascaden Reserve, as I mentioned. On to the next one, second circle of exit strategy. Number 1, supply demand. Now, supply here is limited and the lands are mainly freehold. And given the price tag is on another level expensive, Upper House Quantum makes it one of the cheapest entry level into the area itself by quite some bit. Point number 2, target audience. This is one of the most expensive locations. I emphasize that many times for Singapore. Usually you can say that your target audiences would be that of the high net worth individual, but because URL has built you sizes that is semi-mass market, again, as I mentioned, you might attract the more well-to-do upgraders coming from the OCR and LCR who previously thought everything here was out of reach and range. Now at Upper House, it is not. So this is really the confusing part. Who are we really targeting? Third point, transformation. This is Orchard, guys. I mean, nothing to transform. Probably the only plot of Patterson that is set to undergo changes under the recent Master Plan 2025. But to sum it up, don't have, do not care. 4 points, schools. Now, no schools here. Is it important to have schools? Again, I mentioned many times, it's good to have in areas that are popular for schools, but if it isn't, then no school is okay. Orchard Boulevard typically attracts the super high net worth individuals or foreigners, so they typically attend international schools. Hence, the lack of primary school here is not going to be the biggest problem for them. So for exit strategy, I'm personally not a fan of the area, although I know it's a really very upmarket neighborhood. My philosophy for clients looking at this area is simple. You have all the money in the world. What I tell you isn't going to matter. So just buy whatever you feel is comfortable for you, because money to you is probably secondary. The feel is everything. But on a side note, if you really do get a massive discount on one of the properties here, like how one of my clients managed to snag a Park Nova unit at a massive discount, then the investment part of it still makes sense. The exit strategy is tied very closely here for the first time with the price and the product being built. You have to be very careful on this. In conclusion, what are the 2 reasons why I'm unsure about Upper House? Number 1, the size being built. Again, for the countless of time mentioned in this video, this part of Singapore is a neighborhood that probably belongs to the top 1% of individuals in Singapore. When you have nothing but money, the end users here usually buy properties to feel good. I don't think you will exactly feel good in a 9 square meter common bedroom. They are used to rooms that is like 11, 12, 13 square meter. Their new launch common bedrooms look like their maid's bedroom. I mean, bedrooms can easily put queen size or king size kind of. So given the product is okay, it doesn't fit exactly what the area wants. Granted, the 2 bedrooms might be okay, but the 3 and 4 bedrooms should have really done better. Second thing I'm confused about, the target audience. And because of point 1, the size being built, who are we exactly targeting? Well, to put it bluntly, not the super high net worth peeps. But this can be a bold move to create a product that is within reach to most aspiring locals who previously might be priced out entirely by the better builds around here. Upper House can be right in the middle. Now, the 4 bedrooms will obviously be out of reach for most, but the 1 to 3 bedrooms could see people outside of this social circle trying to get into the exclusive neighborhood. That should work well for UOL. But you guys know me, I'm not here for developers. I'm here to look at the future scene from a resale point of view to understand what might work or what might not. Granted, it might not be the most ideal of builds around. The smaller size brings you an entry level down so low in a very expensive enclave. Now, whether is it suitable for you or not for own use, I think Upper House convenience and prestige might change your perspective, even though you might previously be against it. The location is super amazing. You also get to be close neighbors to one of our prominent leaders in Singapore, hence the fins on the higher floor. However, for pure investment, I still think you will get better value for your money in the OCR and RCR region. In terms of ROI, in terms of everything, the organic demand is still what is key driving the market forward. But this is really suitable for who? It is suitable for people who has a stronger preference for what they buy, even if it's purely for investment. The people people who invest with quite a bit of emotions element in play. Please do bear in mind, no matter how luxurious or nice you are, there's always a price for everything. And what is a walkaway price and what's an absolute steal? Call me and I'll walk this journey with you.